You guys, I don't know how this got lost in the sauce, but I went back into the archives of like Chit Chat with Chan, which, as you guys know, Chit Chat with Chan was built on me interviewing women in the online coaching space that I've never met before. Like, that's literally how this podcast and this show was born. And I went back into the archives and I realized we never published one of the interviews. And so I'm going to do that today. And I even like looked back on the video and I'm like, geez, I'm so tan. I had blonde hair. Anyway, this was from last year, the middle of the year, I think. And I'm going to introduce this woman that I was able to interview. And I remember really enjoying my conversation with her. She just had really, really nice, grounded energy. And so without further ado, meet Haley Thomas. She is a dynamic business strategist, a speaker, a podcast host, and the founder behind The Passion Pursuit. With a mission to empower multi-passionate creatives, Haley understands the importance of building businesses that not only thrive financially, but also enrich the lives of their founders. Through her group programs and personalized mentorship, she equips her clients with the tools and the strategies necessary to create businesses rooted in purpose and joy. Haley's mission is to show others that their wildest dreams can become their new normal. Let's get into the interview, shall we? Haley, welcome to the show all the way from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm so excited that you're here. I cannot wait to get to know your genius and your brilliance and learn all the things. I was stalking your Instagram before we got on together, and I'm just really excited to dive in. For those of you who are listening, this is Chit Chat with Chan, and I actually started this show by inviting women on to chat with me, quite literally. And I invited women intentionally that I have never met before because I felt like that would be fascinating. So without further ado, Haley, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a joy to be here, and I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, I'm so excited too. And fresh new mom, you just had a baby. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so mama to baby girl. She's 4 months old. I almost said 5. I'm like, oh no, time's already going too fast, and I'm making her older. She's 4 months old. Her name is Lucy, and she is just a little ray of sunshine. And I feel like she is deepening my purpose and my why in ways I never anticipated. And my mission is so much stronger because of her. So it's been a beautiful journey, a beautiful self-awakening. And yeah, so much good has come from it.
That's amazing. I was going to ask, how has your approach to your business changed since having her? And I watch this. I'm not a mom yet, but I watch this all the time. Like women doing what we do, having their first child, like they can go one of two ways. They can either be like, I am throwing in the towel, like I just want to be a mom and I want to soak that up, and that's beautiful. I, no judgment towards that. Or they're like, okay, I have this child, I need to double down on my mission. I need to make this big and like go all in. What has changed in your approach to your business? Beyond what you just shared, like what's your outlook on it now?
Yeah, what's fascinating about this too is I'm somebody who's typically like very go, go, go. Like I don't love slowing down. I don't love stillness. And so my biggest fear going into motherhood was, will I have to pause? How will that feel? And I was recognizing too how much I was tying my own self-worth to my level of productivity, the amount that I was getting done in a day, my business results, all of that. And I feel like it was such an eye-opening moment to recognize, no, like I'm whole as I am. I don't need all these bells and whistles or all these different things. So I feel like it taught me a lot about myself in that regard. But two, what I have found is I am so much better about prioritizing what actually matters and recognizing beforehand that I gave away my yes and my time and my energy way too easily. And for the fellow Swifties in the room, I know she just recently was on a podcast and talked about how your energy is expensive. And that really resonated with me because I don't think I was treating my energy as such. I was really just saying like, here you go, left and right. And now that I have such a limited time, because I really want the blend of both. I want to be the present mom, and when I'm with her, I'm with her, and I want to be the ambitious entrepreneur. So me having both, I'm really intentional about having them separate and being present in both of those worlds. So my time is limited when I'm on for work. And so it's got me much more laser focused. It's got me thinking about like, what is my North Star, and really analyzing if I have an opportunity or someone asks me something, Does it make sense for me to say yes? Could it be, yes, good for the short term, but maybe not for the long term? And maybe I have to pass on that right now, and that's okay. So it's just really like opened my eyes on how I was working, how much I was tying myself to my work. And then I would say, like I mentioned before, the mission and part of what I love to do is show other women, especially what is possible for themselves, breaking that belief barrier that we
Mhm.
sometimes hold and limit ourselves with. And having a daughter, especially, I want her to grow up and see like, look at mom as the example of going after the things that you want in this life. I want her to see that really there's nothing that's impossible.
Amen, sister. I mad respect for that. I love that so much. I think that's so beautiful. And I can't wait to continue watching you and looking up to you when it comes to that because I want to be a mom one day too. So that's a really, really cool and beautiful way of looking at it. And I just love how you summarize that. Um, I guess we should back up and I should ask you if you were to describe the transformation that you provide in your business, what is that transformation?
Yeah. I think it really does come down to showing, connecting people with what they love, right? And I'm the founder of what's called the Passion Pursuit, and it really is that. It is connecting people to what lights them up, what gets you energized to get out of bed in the morning, and show you that you can actually do that every single day,
Mm-hmm.
and create a life around that as well. Like it ties in both. But for me, it's too about breaking that belief on, again, how limiting sometimes we let ourselves dream. Like usually we're playing so small in this life because we just don't think we're capable, or we don't have this resource, or maybe we're not certified here, or whatever the case may be. There's usually all these reasons why we can't do something, be something, or have something. And I am such a firm believer that like that is truly not the case. And when it
Mm-hmm.
comes down to it, we can bust through so much of those barriers that keep us stagnant and that prevent us from really going towards the dream life that we have. And so I jokingly say I'm like the business strategist meets the life coach, because
Yeah.
we're helping you to build something that really is impactful, yes, profitable, of course, and supports your life, your joy, your values, what matters to you most. So bringing those two worlds together to do that.
I love that so much. It's interesting. The more that I do this, I realize like we all have a similar, in my opinion, if we're doing it the right way, we have a similar message of like you can be your own worst enemy or you can be your biggest superhero, and then everything else falls into place once you crack that code. And I think that's fascinating. And so I'm curious, why is this topic, the passion pursuit, why is waking up in the morning and loving what you do and removing the blocks and getting out of your own way, why is that important to you?
Because I know what it's like to not. And it was the most soul sucking, sad, draining journey to put parts of myself on the back burner, to
Mm-hmm.
place my dreams in the corner, and pretend like, oh nope, can't do it, can't have them, and blocking again my own self from
Yeah.
it. There was nothing external that was really telling me yes or no. Maybe some limiting voices, yes,
Yeah.
but it's your choice to listen to those. And so
Right.
really it came down to me standing in the way. And so knowing that, and then starting to break through my own belief on what was possible, and get myself around other people doing bigger things, and recognizing, wait, why can't I? Like starting to just flip the coin and ask the other question, like, what if this was possible? What if I could do this? And
Mm-hmm.
playing in that realm of possibility. Now I look back, and even just these last few years, on things that I've been able to do and dream of and have. And these are things beyond what I would ever even let myself dream about beforehand. And so now having that and being on the other side, I'm like, oh my gosh, wake up. Like we all have access to this. We all have so much more within us than we are giving ourselves credit for. And I want to show women that. I'm like, we are resourceful. I mean,
Yeah.
women do so much. I'm like thinking about being a mom right now and like balancing all the different hats. And I'm like, women do a lot, friends. And so
Yeah.
it's like, why are we holding ourselves back and playing this game of we can't? And now again, being on the other side, it just fuels my fire, because I don't want anyone else to feel the way that I did in my before,
Mm-hmm.
that I just kind of felt like a shell of
Yeah.
myself, and life is too short to feel that way.
Yeah. Totally agree. The part that you mentioned, like where you finally like got in the room and you got around people, I did see you, one of your pinned posts, I think it is, that you went to Powerhouse Women last year. Shout out to
Yes.
Lindsay, love her so much. So that's cool. I love seeing that, and I think that is such a game changer in what we're doing. But I'm curious, like take us back to the specifics of when you were in that position of like putting yourself on the back burner? Like what did that look like? How did that like what situation were you in? Were you working a 9 to 5? Were you in a toxic relationship? Like what was that, so that we can see ourselves in you?
Yeah, so I was in school. I was in college at the time, and I had pursued a major that felt like the safe and stable route, not the one that I actually wanted to
What
pursue.
was it?
I was always that like head in the clouds dreamer who wanted to go beyond Broadway. I was a big singer.
Mm,
I was the theater girl in school. I was just very much about the idea of telling a story, which makes sense now having a podcast. It's kind of funny, some of the things that are
oh, for
connected to
sure.
what I do now. Like, so funny to see that. But at the time when you're 17 years old and you're asked to pick the thing you're supposed to do with the rest of your life, you have all these voices around you that are like, well, I don't know. Like, you're going to go to school for that. And are you actually going to make money? Are you going to get a job? Will you be able to put food on the table? So there's all this noise around. And me being a kid didn't at the time have the confidence to really stand up and say, yeah, I can do this. I believe in myself. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. So
Mhm.
let me choose the option that everyone around me was telling me to do. And so I went the round of design. It was interior design, architecture,
Oh, wow.
and went to school for that. And some people are like, oh, that sounds cool. I hated it, friends. I
Mm,
absolutely hated it. I would go to my classes and just look around the room at people who actually were passionate about it and be like, wow, am I supposed to feel this way? Because this just feels like a thing I have to do.
yeah.
And it was that constant energy of like, I'm showing up because I have to, not
Yeah.
because I get to where I want to. It's so soul sucking. It got to the point where I was at my wit's end. I was a junior and I was like, should I change my major? And at the time I even double majored for a minute to try to find something else and just felt so stuck. But then by the time I was trying to figure it out, school was about done. And I was like, well, I guess it is what it is. And kind of stayed in that mindset for a bit because, again, I was listening to all these expectations around me of what
Was
people
that
thought
from
I
like,
should
was
do.
that your family, or like where were those voices coming from that made such an impact on you?
Yeah, I don't love to point fingers and blame, but I do think that there was a majority of family for sure, and I know where they're coming from, right? Wanting
Yeah,
to be safe and
for
stable, all
sure.
the things. There's no entrepreneurs in my family, so that wasn't even talked about as an option. So I feel like it was definitely that, but also too, I feel like in society we're kind of taught like this is what success is. You're supposed to go to school, get the 9 to 5, work to the salary, build up the promotion. Like we're taught this very specific roadmap of success, but we're not really shown other options of how you can create that for yourself. It's
For
just
sure.
very like black and white.
Hmm.
So I feel like it was a combination of yes, like those in my life, but also too just in general what I known. I didn't know what I didn't know, and so
For
for me,
sure.
entrepreneurship was never exposed to me.
Right. Yeah. I see myself in that in many different ways. And yeah, like I have a super supportive, loving family, and I played basketball growing up. And I will say, like, I was not in love with playing basketball, and I went as far to play college basketball, and I didn't love
Wow.
it. But I had a family of Division 1 athletes, and I had my parents who loved me so much and wanted what was best for me, telling me, you know, you're naturally gifted at this sport, you need to keep playing. And you, as a kid, like you, it's innate that you want to make the people around you proud.
Yeah.
And you also, like, to your point, you don't know what you don't know about who you could be outside of what's expected of you. So it's really
Mm,
tough to go against the grain when you haven't been taught to go against the grain, truly. Like, you've been
yeah.
taught to do what you're good at and stay the path, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that, to your point, like, I would never say, I would never blame my parents. I would never say, I can't believe you did that to me. I don't feel like I'm a victim there. But at the same time, I think this is an interesting conversation because someone might be listening to this and they don't even realize that they're in this trance of listening to the people around them. They don't realize that
Mm,
they're stuck in not potentially seeking their own voice.
mm.
And I think that's what it was. It sounds like for both of us, like we just we didn't know. And so now in hindsight, it's easy to spot it, but it's like I didn't know that I didn't love basketball. I thought that I was supposed to just do the thing, and not enjoying it was kind of part of it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, like you always hear too, like it's going to be hard work. Of course it's stressful. I'm like, okay, well, I should just be stressed all the time. Like that's what's normal, right? And like how sad is that? But that's truly like the environments that we're in a lot of times is like this is what the normal box is. And so it didn't seem like a red flag that I
Mm-hmm.
was miserable every single day. It didn't seem like I stress was like a red flag in any way, or that I was doing something that I wasn't really passionate about, because isn't that just what you do? You just have to
Yeah.
do what you got to do to make the money and do the like. It's just funny like looking back on it now, but it is true. Like when you're in it, it's so hard to see past that.
Yes. So bring us forward to like your rock bottom moment where that red flag did become obvious to you and you were like, enough is enough. I see this for what it is. And maybe you didn't see it, but you thought to yourself, like, changes need to be made. Before you became, a full blown entrepreneur, I'm sure there was like that moment where you're like, yeah, this is making me sick. Like, I can't do this. What was that? What did that look like? Where were you?
I would say when I think about that, like the moment of just like enough is enough was the first time I started to see the other side. So I was already in that rock bottom
Mm,
and just completely stuck and also struggling to see any other way until we actually went to go to Florida and we visited my grandpa. And he has passed now, but he was an incredibly passionate individual. He actually served our country in the Marines for 30 years and was
wow.
wildly passionate about it. And so when we're visiting, he's showing me all these different things, memorabilia, pictures, sharing memories, all this stuff. And the way that he lit up when he started talking about it, just it absolutely blew my mind. I was like, wait, why are we, this should be the normal. Like seeing him and how excited he got, like, why is this not the normal? I should be feeling like that. That seems way more exciting and way more aligned. And funny enough, this is very strange and I don't know why, but we all and my whole family was on like a Shark Tank marathon when we were visiting him. So then
Wow.
I'm like seeing these entrepreneurs and their creations and going after what they want and taking the risk, and they're doing it and they might be scared and it's these big intense things, but they look so happy. And it
Mm,
just got me thinking, like, what if there was something that again connected people back to what they love and we cultivated a way for them to pursue that? And so the
yeah.
passion pursuit was an idea more so and a concept before it ever was like you're going to make a business and an entrepreneurship thing. It really was just like, I want to connect people back to what they love. I was like, what does that mean? I have no idea. But it all kind of started to click at that conversation and that time that I had with him, and just showing me the possibilities of someone who actually did love
Mm,
what they did for their entire life, the legacy that they created for themselves and their family.
I love that. He was like your mirror and you didn't see your reflection in the mirror. I love that so much.
Yes,
That's
yes.
really cool. So, when you talk about helping women or men alike, whoever you work with, when you talk about helping them get back to what they love, does that differ from finding your passion, or is that the same thing to you? I'm sorry, finding your purpose.
Mm,
Excuse me, finding your purpose.
I think they overlap. I
Okay.
think that a lot of times the passion comes first and then the purpose follows. And what I mean by that is I often see passion as the thing that lights you up. So this is where I connect people to their own joy, what they used to love to do when they were younger, what they value, the things that are really lighting you up individually. Purpose, though, I see is the impact that it has when you extend your passion
Mm,
out into the world. So
love that.
purpose then flips to being about who is on the other side of you living out your passion. So that's where these two worlds come together. And I feel magic happens when you're as lit up, because you're, what I believe is true is that your joy, and when you are lit up, like you're magnetizing, like it, there's something about someone who's in their joy and in that like sense of self that just is has such a ripple effect on the world around them, their family, their community, their friends. You just want to know more, be more. You're inspired by them. You just want more for yourself by being around people like that. And so when I can connect somebody back to that and their magnet's just growing, then suddenly the purpose starts to grow as well, because they're not afraid to share who they innately are out into the world.
Dude, that's so good. I love that so much. Everyone needs to re-listen to that 60 seconds 10,000 times. I want to double down on that because I'm a content coach for female founders, And that's my exact same message. Like I don't care. You can work on your messaging, you can refine your posting and your strategy all day long. If you're lacking that energy, which is unspoken, it doesn't matter what you say. If you're lacking that, no one's gonna believe you. Your content's not gonna do the heavy lifting for you that you expect it to do. So I am completely aligned with that message and I love it so much. My immediate question is, how do you do that for people? How do you work through that with them?
It's not often that somebody asks you what makes you happy. We often say, like, what are your goals? What do you want to do? What are the boxes you want to check? The things you want to achieve? I feel like I find a lot of achievers, and that makes sense because I'm like a recovering overachiever myself. But when you start to ask those deeper questions of like, what is it that makes you happy? What lights you up or what used to light you up? And people start to connect the dots. It opens up something different than just saying like, what are your goals in life? What do you want? What success means to you? Like what fulfills you is really where I like to go. So we start with the joy. We start to see what opens up. Then we tap into what you value. Because I think your values also have a lot of information for you to take from. Your values, I believe, are the filter of which you should make decisions through. They're your compass. They're what guides you. And a lot of people do not actually sit down and ask, like, what is it that they value in this life? They're just kind of letting life do its thing to them rather than being like, no, this is what I value. And I'm going to be intentional as I take steps forward to align my life and my work with these values. So it's joy, it's values, and then starting to connect the purpose piece, the impact piece, because it's a lot of times more motivating for us to think about how what we do is going to do for someone else, how it's going to impact someone else. And so we start to then connect those pieces because a lot of times, and especially I find for women, and I don't want to just say that, but I do believe that a lot of women tend to be more motivated by helping other people. And so when I can connect both of these worlds, the purpose and the passion, as mentioned, then again, so much is uncovered, so much magic happens, and possibilities start to happen, ideas start to flow, creativity starts to flow in ways it didn't before, because again, you're less structured on checking boxes and figuring it all, like the strategy piece, which coming from a strategist, like we get into that eventually, but not before we have the space to dream. And so I really hold clients in thinking about like, if anything were possible, what would you want to do, create, have, be? Like, let's talk about it and allowing them to go there. And it's funny because someone just recently that I worked with, they're like, I don't know if I could ever tell you something where you would throw it back and be like, that's not realistic. I'm like, yeah, that's the goal. Like, I want this to be the space where you can just like go crazy and no one's going to question you, doubt you. Like, this is the space for you to do that. Because oftentimes we're already limiting or living in a world of limitation. So I hold that space for someone to dream. And then it kind of goes from there.
I'm obsessed. I feel like that work is so important and so needed. And I'm sure your clients love you. I'm curious, do you have different flavors of work? Like, do you have different programs? Do you have like your own mastermind space? Like, what does that look like in your business strategy?
Yeah, so I work with someone in either a one-to-one setting or I have a program right now called School of Passion, which it's so full circle thinking about my story and being in school for something I hated. Now I'm like, I've created the School of Passion. Like, this is the place where you go and you find yourself in the things that light you up. And then it's cultivating around that specific thing. That's the core that we're working from. So School of Passion is like a hybrid course group program. So there's coaching with me. I bring guests in. We should talk about that. Bring guests in to share their magic in this space as well. Like, really, it is such an impactful community of other female founders. So those are the two areas. And I recently became an owner of a company and a community called Camp Climb. So if you've heard of that, it's actually rooted in the Midwest, and it's an annual event that combines like the joy of summer camp as a kid meets entrepreneurial conference. So it's very different from the like dressing up, no glam here. Like, we're talking like grab your overalls, put your braids in and come to camp. Like, we're in cabins, we're cooking s'mores over the bonfire, we're opening up deeper than ever before. So I have that piece, which feels like the in-person version of the work that I'd already been doing. So I kind of work with people in a few different ways, but that's what's going on in this season.
So Camp Climb is your thing? That's
It is. So it wasn't founded by me. It actually, funny enough, was a community. It was the first community that I found when I started really tapping into creating the passion pursuit. And it was the first investment that I made for myself, which is so big. I know how big that can be. And so going to camp for the first time was truly the catalyst for me building loving the passion pursuit. And now it's funny because I was an attendee, and then I came back and I was a guest facilitator at camp, and now I own camp, which is the craziest thing. I was very close to the leader, and she's like, camp is meant to live on, but I'm not meant to lead this way anymore. And she reached out to me and she's like, I see you as the next leader. And I'm like, wow,
Wow.
talk about a full circle moment to be sitting in the audience and thinking, man, it would be so amazing to have a community that I can lead to doing what they love. And now being on the other side just a couple years later. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, old me could not have imagined some of the things
Yeah.
that I'm living out now.
I believe so much that when we're in alignment like that with what our mission is and what we're supposed to be doing, that things just truly work out like in our favor. So I feel like that's
Yeah.
what that was for you. And that's the coolest thing ever. Um, I want to wrap up with a couple questions. My first question is, um, I it's interesting. I work with a lot of women, and to your point, I work with a lot of women who are quote unquote powerhouse women, and they stop at nothing on their pursuit to having everything that they want. However, something that I find very common amongst all of us is we feel misunderstood for something. And I'm curious, when it comes to you, what do you wish that people knew about you right away when they found you, that sometimes you think it takes them a while, or that maybe they have to get behind the scenes with you before they learn this about you? But what do you wish that they knew right away?
I am much more of a sensitive softie than I think people see. And I work a lot in my joy zone, and I think that's what I'm guiding people to, right? And so you see a lot of that. But I feel too that in life, it's never just all joy. There's a duality, and there's some parts that are very hard and very humbling and can be just absolutely breaking you open. So I feel like behind the scenes, I'm all of those things. I'm all of the emotions. I'm not just my joy all the freaking time. I don't operate like a robot. And so I have my hard days. I have the days where I want to throw in the towel. I have the days where everything feels like it's falling apart. I have the days where I question myself. And it was really eye-opening for me. A few months ago, I had somebody reach out. They were like, how are you doing all the things that you're doing? You just seem fearless. And I was like, okay, that must be, that is like the biggest, I've never even said that, but like that would be, if I said that out loud, the biggest lie I've ever told, because there's no way. If anything, I am fearful every day, every single day. I am putting myself in rooms that terrify me. I am asking questions. I am pitching myself to things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't like, I'm questioning myself the entire way. But what I'm learning to do is not let the fear hold me back. I'm learning to work with it. And so I feel like it sometimes looks like the internet highlight reel of like, oh, she's got it all. She's got it all together. She's just constantly happy. Life is always perfect. And that's not the case. And so I feel like I would want people to see the softer side of me, the more empathetic side, the sensitive side, the side that does actually care a little bit what people think. And I wish I didn't, but I do.
Sure,
So
yeah.
learning to work with it, you know?
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing that. My final question, which is asked to every single guest on the show, because I'm a content coach, I'm always very curious. What is the best content advice that you've ever been given and implemented to help you scale your business?
Well, first, when we were talking about magnetism, and especially with content, AI cannot replace you in any way. It doesn't matter if it writes your copy. It doesn't matter. I sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, AI is taking over. I'm like, it's really not. Like, people can see through it.
Yes.
And when you are leading from a place like that, or looking outside of yourself at what everyone else is doing and trying to replicate it, you are missing such an opportunity, because you are the secret sauce to the things that you're putting out into the world. Your joy, your expertise, your excitement, first and foremost, is the magnet. And if you're putting that aside because you want to fit yourself into this mold or box of what other experts might be doing in your industry, you're missing the point and you're missing opportunities. So really, I think authenticity is thrown around a lot as a buzzword, but man, coming back to the aspect of like, how are you showing up as who you innately are to the core, and not being afraid to hold back. Coming into this business world, I saw a lot of like black and white and these perfect, pristine, like feeds and the black blazer, the business photo shoots, and I came in like a ball of confetti with like yellow, hot pink, blue, and like just like a absolutely, like we threw spray paint all over the wall. Like I literally threw confetti in the snow for my first branding photo shoot because I was like, no, I want to do this differently, and this does not feel like me. And so I'm grateful for beginning me knowing that right away. And what's been cool is I've received opportunities because of what I've brought.
Yes.
People actually have been like, oh, you bring the confetti. I'm like, yes, like I want to be known for these things. I want you to see a bright yellow and be like, oh, passion pursuit, I think of Haley. So it's like you being you is what's going to attract opportunities that you can't even begin to imagine. So really, yeah, looking internal, not external.
I'm obsessed. So good. That's everything that I stand for. So we will wrap it up with that. Thank you so much, Haley. I think you're amazing. I truly, in this short amount of time, I can feel your brilliance and feel your charisma and your true passion for what you do. And I have so much respect for that. And I'm really glad that our paths have been crossed because I'm going to become your biggest cheerleader. And I want this message to get out to everyone. Where can we find you? Where's the easiest place to follow you, to learn more about what you offer, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me. I love your questions and I love the depth that we went in this conversation today. So thank you for asking what you asked. And you can find me at all things The Passion Pursuit. On Instagram, it's The Passion Pursuit Co. I believe that's the website. The podcast is The Passion Pursuit Podcast. It's pretty easy across the board here. And then for the in-person version of things, it's Camp Climb. So those are the two places where I'm hanging out right now.
Amazing. I will definitely be looking at Camp Climb. It sounds like a dream come true. Not much of a camper, but maybe we can make it a glamping.
I should say it's glamping.
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny. It's actually really funny that I own what's called Camp Climb because I am absolutely not a camper. Like you will not find me in a tent. I would like a full bathroom. I'm much more of a glamper, but it's the relaxed conference to a point. It's definitely glamping. We'll be in cabins. There's air conditioning. There's a full bathroom and shower. You are so covered here. But yes, I should clarify that.
Vibe. I caught the vibe when you were like, overalls and pigtails. It didn't seem like, like no shower type vibes. It seemed like we're gonna
you can
still
shower.
be, it's just like a different type of vibe. But yeah.
Yeah, you can shower and crawl into your bunk bed with your air conditioned and your sleeping bag on the bed.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Haley. And I'm really excited to continue watching you and to connect with you. And I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you.